Hey guys, welcome back to the Playground Podcast. I know we've been kind of in hiatus because we got a little busy, but we're back in full force. And we're also excited to announce that next episode will actually be in person. So we're excited to get that back with you guys, get that going. And yeah, I'm here obviously with my co-host Joel. And Joel, you want to start it off?
Yeah, we can start off this episode. And again, yeah, we've been on hiatus. I got a new PC, guys. So I'm moving different. I'm playing games different.
New
I'm getting
games, new vibes,
new
setup.
FPSs. Everything is different in my life right now. New chair. So if you were peeping in the old episodes, I was sitting on some rickety shit, but now I'm sitting in an ergonomic back supporting chair. I'm blessed now. And let me tell you, you know what? We could open up with investing. I'm gonna just indulge me for 2 minutes, and then we could get on to the main topics. I'm gonna tell everybody, don't be afraid to spend money on the stuff that's important. Your PC, your chair, whatever that you do. If you're a musician, if you're whatever, I'm telling you, just spend the money. It'll come back to you. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I bought this chair and I sat in it for an hour and I could actually feel my back healing from all the pain I was putting it through in my other chair. So my new philosophy is, man, I don't buy this shit often anyway. So if I'm gonna buy it, and if I can, mind you, not everybody has the disposable income, especially nowadays, and I want to take that into consideration. But if you have the money, bro, just spend it, invest on that mic, on that camera, on those things. It's worth it.
Invest in yourself. Invest in yourself.
That's my little tidbit before we jump into
Investing in yourself is not a waste of money.
Never. Even like the little things, like it could be fucking getting more sleep, like
That's facts.
right, like that extra hour 30 minutes that you put in getting rest, bro, compound that over years. I think your all-cause mortality goes down. So that's
spending a little more on groceries, getting a healthier like ingredients to cooking, or like meats and shit.
Yo, pick up that water bottle just one more time. When you think you've had enough water, just pick it up. Just pick up the water bottle, drink it. It's the little things, those little tiny things are like investments that we could all do in ourselves that pays dividends, man. On top of all the the larger shit that we could do, like reading books, going to therapy, all of these different things. Investing in yourself is like the most important thing, and that's my little what I realized from my little splurge the last couple of days.
I feel that. Actually, yeah, that reminds me. I haven't invested in or bought something for myself in a minute. I might have to go splurge soon. Shit.
Man, you have to go and fucking treat yourself, bro.
Yeah, that's true. What's the point of honestly like just saving and working all this, or like working and saving all this money, and you don't use it? You're just gonna save it up till like you're too old to use it. Fuck it, just spend it now.
Legit, and like even those little things like recognizing that you've done good for yourself and like you've kept up. Like let's say you've been paying your rent, you've been paying your bills, like this, that, the third. You got a little. If you could do something for yourself, like celebrate your wins. And sometimes your wins is as simple as that you showed up every single day for yourself, and that's enough.
And you know what? I see how like I've been watching some like creators, right? And they had like I guess like a different, like similar but also different type of outlook on it. They're kind of like it's like, for example, DEG, right?
Yeah.
It's like this creator, artist, whatever. And he was saying how he didn't have a lot of money back then, right? But he bought these $700 Balenciagas. And even though it was his last $700, it motivated him to go out there, grind a little bit harder, and get that money back. So some people use that as motivation too. Money can't come in without it going out. So that's to be what's that word?
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's called like abundance mindset.
Abundance mindset. Yeah.
Yeah. I really kind of just like where you're not just trying to fucking save where you're not Mr. Krabs, where you're not framing every dollar. You know what I'm saying?
Cause you know what why I believe that's powerful is because if you move from an abundance mindset, the way you approach shit is different. So for example, if I'm abundance mindset and I go into a meeting, let's say we're trying to land some sponsorship or something. If I go in there and I'm like, yo, this is my only shot, I'm never gonna take chances. I'm never gonna ask for what I actually want. I'm not gonna.
That's true. You're gonna move within the confines of what you think you deserve.
Yeah,
or what you think is possible.
And that's the even worse. What you think is possible, what you think you deserve. Maybe you have a high self-worth, and that's basically an abundant mindset. But if it's the other one, then you're what's possible? Yo, you're fucked. You're cooked.
Yeah, because you're kind of putting yourself in a box already.
Yeah, you're cooked if you move like that.
All right, and moving from this topic, right? I don't know if some of you guys have seen this crazy viral video of this ball run at HoopDome. So it started off. We don't get to see the full video, but I'm assuming it started off as an argument that escalated. And for those who have not seen it, I'm gonna put it right here real quick. And the thing that's crazy to me is that, like, back in my like period when I was like, I guess in high school, if I'm playing ball and there's a fight, we'll just fight it out and play ball. Like, we'll continue the game after. There doesn't need to be a need for you to bring a weapon to a bar run, especially being in high school.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That's crazy to me. And so if you've seen a video, right? There's like 7 Asian kids. I'm assuming they're all Filipino, and there's one white kid. I'm like, you guys couldn't even run the fade one-on-one versus this one white kid, or at least jump him. Like, if you're too scared to fight one-on-one, jump him. But you're gonna bring a weapon? A weapon is crazy.
and yo, it was what I jumped out to me in that video. Dude just had it in his bag, so he just had a machete ready to go whenever. And it makes me think about is my philosophy. Yo, I'm not fighting. Like, this is why I'm not gonna fight, because you might be thinking, okay, like, you get really mad and whatever. Yeah. You go to step to someone.
You think you're gonna run a fair fade and the man has a machete? Like, what the fuck is that?
A machete is insane.
Yeah, and I seen the comments too, right? And like, I don't support this type of shit at all, because I'm like, yo, if you're a grown man, fight one-on-one, get whatever you need off your chest, and that's it. You don't need to bring a weapon. But a lot of people, a lot of Filipinos and like older Asians in the comments were like, oh, like, this is what they get for thinking that they can mess with Asian people. I'm like, nah, bro, like, let's not try to encourage or push the stereotype that this is what we need to do, that this is what kids need to do, and that Asian people are so weak that they can't run a fade, that they have to bring a weapon. Like, nah, let's not do that. Let's actually fucking, you know, like, let's teach the kids something better. I was mad fucking disappointed to see grown adults and like Tito's fucking, you know, like, grown Filipino men defending what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy to me, because like, one, let's get through his life away. He's gonna be in jail. He's not gonna be like a job. And honestly, those boys look like good boys. They don't like no hoodlums. They don't like no gangbangers. They don't like no thugs, no goons. But he threw his life away because he'd rather use a weapon than fight with his hands. He fought with his hands, he would have got kicked out of HoopDome, and that's it. Yeah,
that would have been it. And the guy he was fighting,
he did not look fearful. Like, he did not look like a scary dude.
They look like the same size. Like, they literally looked. It looked like 5'10" versus 5'10". If I'm
no. It looked like 5'8" versus like 5'5". But like, either way, like, it's not that big of a thing.
Yeah, it was not that serious.
And you have your boys with you. So and if you are losing the fight, just jump him. Like, what the fuck?
It's the point you made that I think about a lot. Is like, you just threw away your life for no reason, you know?
Yeah.
And then there's a bigger conversation. I think it's like, you know, for a lot of the times, like, the issues with young men go unaddressed because, like, you know, and I think we touched on this problem in episode 1 or 2, but it's rearing its head again, right? Like, this is a young man that clearly hasn't been taught how to deal with his anger, or hasn't been taught like proper decision making.
I don't think that it's his anger. I think it's his decision making.
Yeah, that's the next piece, right? The decision making, right? Like, he hasn't been taught how to deal with his decision making process, and there's not a lot. Like, in my day, I can't speak for now, but when I was younger, there wasn't any like outlets or things to really help young men deal with this. There might have been a 1-2 program, but nothing that was fully fleshed out. And I think it's really important because when you look at the data, it's mostly men, and especially young men, that end up in prison for crimes like this. Disproportionately, they get longer sentencing times, and they end up in prison for these kind of activities. So, you know, seeing those people encourage it is fucked up, because like, this is actually a big problem.
It's a big
this
problem.
Kid lost his life.
Yeah, it's not even like he just lost his life. Like, say, like, obviously he can do the time and come back out, right? And then maybe he's gonna be a better person. But chances are, right, when you're in the system, you're gonna come back out. When you're in the system, even if it's juvenile, right, you're gonna kind of develop a certain mindset and way for you to move about in juvenile, so that it's easier for you. Like, it's not as a hard time for you, whether it be joining a gang, whether it be acting even more hard than you are. And that's gonna slowly like fuck up the wiring of your brain, or of how you think things work. So when you come back to the real world, you're gonna be even more messed up. So if you were stupid before even pulling that knife and slashing somebody with it over a ball argument,
Yeah, man.
chances are 75% of the chances are that you're gonna come out even more stupid, and like even more susceptible to doing something stupid like that.
And there's going to be no one there to save him. He's going to be on his once.
Yep.
And
again, he looks like a good kid, comes from probably a good family. Like nobody on that court looked like they're actually about anything.
Yeah. And it may, you know what it makes me think, bro? And I don't know if you have an answer to this, but I'm going to throw this question out there.
Yep.
Is obviously this goes back to another thing that we talked about, his influences. And a lot of people's influences are the music, right? Like,
yeah. I guess just kind of like gang culture, or like what
gang culture.
It's supposedly gang culture,
right? Like this drill music and all this stuff and all these things. Like, okay, yo, you know what? I'm gonna go on record and say, listen, drill artists shouldn't have a platform, and let me tell you my reasoning. Okay,
right, go.
Like I music is music, sure, but when you're not about to, especially as a black man, bro, you're not about to get on the internet and glamorize the worst parts of the black experience. And that's the way I see it, right? Like murdering each other, smoking packs, like all this shit that people do, right? It's the lyrics, the beats are nice, the lyrics are hilarious. Oh, yo, he smoked him. But I'm like, why are we even giving you guys a fucking platform to push this shit? Because it's a reality that you live with. And that story needs to be told, for sure. But it
could be told in a way where it isn't glamorized.
Where it isn't glamorized. Like now we could say, hey, this is how we live and want it, but your shit's getting glamorized.
It's kind of like right? I guess you can kind of compare it to like real old school rap, where they're actually like telling the stories and like the trauma of like being in the streets, but not glamorizing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
two different tones. So
whereas
I'll
drill is kind of whereas drill just glamorizes, and I get that because I fuck with the beats, I fuck with like the energy drill music brings, but I agree with you where like it's kind of weird that you guys are like rapping and bragging about killing 14-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, you know.
Yeah, and these songs are going back and forth. Like when you look at it objectively, like I've been able to step back a little bit and just kind of look at okay, what's going on here? And when you take it in, it's what you said, 15, 16-year-olds making music about killing each other. Yeah. For clout. Like clout is a fucked up drug. These kids killing each other so they could say, "Yo, I smoked them in a pack."
Yeah, what? And that kid probably like you never know that HoopDome North York incident. Yeah. Maybe Clout drove him to do what he did. Maybe he's like, "Oh, yo, I want to seem like a bad guy or a bad man, so let me fucking order a machete off Amazon." And then, yo, this guy's mad at me right now, or he's trying to beef with me. Let me use my machete right now so people know who I am. Like you don't know like what his intentions were, probably. But like Clout could have driven that too.
Yeah, I wouldn't even think that's far-fetched. I think that's probably very accurate. Because he wasn't in that kind of danger.
Mm-hmm. And Asian community, especially the old ones, y'all need to do better. Cause like, why are you promoting this type of stuff? Cause I know 90%, not even like 90%, I know 100% that if the roles were reversed and it was a black kid doing it to an Asian kid, they would be bashing the hell out of the black kid.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Bash the hell out of the black kid. So don't condone this. Don't encourage this just because he's Asian. In the Asian community, you gotta do better. You know, we're not gonna be biased. I know a lot of the older community, a lot of Asian people are biased, but like, do better. Like, don't promote this type of stuff. That's stupid as hell.
Yeah, it's really some dumb shit, man.
You're gonna encourage your kids if they get into like an argument to use a knife or some shit, and then they're gonna throw their life away. No, like, don't encourage that shit. That's not the type of shit we need to encourage in Toronto, especially with how messed up Toronto already is.
Mm-hmm. And how it's getting. Yeah.
You don't want kids you don't want suburban kids who aren't even involved in that life whatsoever to want to be in that life. Yeah. Now that's just gonna end up biting you in the ass, and no one's gonna want to stay in Toronto anyways.
You know, when I look at things like that, when people are glamorizing this shit, right? I'm like, all right, cool. Like, maybe it's easy for them to do it because it's not their child, you know? Yeah. And I like that saying, like, walk a mile in my shoes. And kind of the connection I'm making is, bro, if we looked at all these events as through the lens of like maybe this was a family member or like a child of ours, like who the frick would want their kid to feel like he needs to walk around a machete? Like we all want good things for our loved ones and people immediate to us. So it would be easy for us to imagine like this should be a greater societal idea. Like, hey, maybe we should kind of start shaming people for making certain kinds of music and promoting certain things,
Sure,
right?
exactly.
Instead of glorifying it. And it may seem extreme to people because, you know, whatever, but as I'm growing older and I'm looking at, you know, me having a family and just like the effect that shit has on society, like why the hell are we what is this? Murder music, all this shit, killings, this, that, the third. If anything, it perpetuates all the, because I remember watching a few documentaries trying to understand like gang culture in New York. There's this one YouTube channel where the guy goes in depth that you might have seen. I'm not sure. I forget the name.
Maybe.
But the first diss tracks that were coming out for murdering, you know, ops was coming out of Chicago like in 2010 around then. That's when we really seen like that whole smoke in a pack thing.
Yeah.
And now when I'm seeing TikToks or like I'll see a video of a guy that's just been shot, like they're all using the same language, they're all using the same verbiage, they all have the same goal. Like people will put videos of themselves after they got shot for clout. Like I saw this one kid, he's in the hospital bed with the freaking bullet hole in the middle of his forehead, right? Like
I think I've seen that one actually.
Right, and then he's like, and the audio was like, "Ha ha, you guys missed. Ha ha, you guys missed." And I was watching that video. I'm thinking to myself, this kid is so lost in the fucking sauce that he almost lost his life. Right?
There was another incident too, right? So there's another New York YouTuber with a New York drill rapper, right? So they're doing a prank. They're going to like the airport and pretending to take people's like luggages, right? Mm-hmm. So they pretend to take this guy's. They go up to this couple. He's with his girl. He wants to kind of like, I guess, gesture to take his girl's luggage. And then the boyfriend gets kind of like hostile. He's like, yo, like, obviously he's gonna get hostile. You're protecting your girl and your shit, right? So he's like, yo, back the fuck up. What do you think you're doing? You think you're funny? And the drill rapper takes out a knife and starts threatening him. He's like, yo, are you stupid? You know who I am, yo? I really slice you up right now, yo. I'm like, how are you guys being the aggressor when you guys are trying to prank man? So you guys are getting mad at people for reacting to your prank and you want to act tough? Like, you're acting tough with civilians. Not acting tough for like your ops, you're acting tough with civilians. And that just shows me how like twisted kids have become these days.
All right, and then you know what? I was talking with my girl about this. I'm like, if I'm ever blessed to have kids, I'm gonna delay as long as possible when they get social media in their hands. I think it's gonna be
for sure
very, very difficult when it's our turn to have kids and they're like 13, whatever. It'll probably be like a chip they put in their head, so it'll be hard to manage.
They're gonna go to school and everyone's gonna have Instagram. They're like, fuck, I want Instagram now. And once they get into that rabbit hole, they're gonna start caring what other people think, what society may view of them. Like social media is gonna be so hard to, I guess, navigate with their children.
Yeah, and there has to be a solution because I saw this one interesting. I don't know if it was a study or whatever, but I saw it in passing. So what I'm about to say, listeners and viewers, take it with a grain of salt. But the conclusion that I read was this generation of young kids, like 13 and above, 13 to 17, whatever, are severely more depressed than previous generations because of their addiction to social media. Like they actually don't have, like, their life is tied to their phone, you know?
Their life is tied to their image on their phone.
Yeah, and they have to uphold the image or this, that. And that's why we're seeing these kids after he got shot goes on social media because he has to keep up the whole gangster image or whatever his goal was.
He's more concerned about what other people think about him than he is his actual health and well-being.
Right. It's instead of laying low, maybe thinking about, hey, I literally lost my life over what?
Over nothing.
Over what? Crazy, man. Yep. So I stand on that hill, man. Like that kind of music. Yeah, it sells, and that's a problem. It's so appealing, it's so catchy, it's so easy. Shock factor. But I don't know. I feel like, as especially speaking for myself, I can't speak for the whole black community. I mean, I'm not going to do that because people get on a high horse and speak for everybody. But in my opinion, I would like for one day that kind of music is just kind of shunned. Like, really, you're going to get on the platform and talk about that? That's insane.
I get you. And then in other news, America's most hated child. I know a lot of people hate him. If you don't hate him, then you shouldn't be watching this podcast. But Jake Paul finally fucking lost, and I'm fucking happy as hell. But I do gotta give the man respect though, because he isn't a boxer, and he actually did surprise me. I thought he was gonna get his ass knocked out by Tommy Fury, but he actually did hold his ground for a little bit. Or not for a little bit. He actually did hold his ground.
Yeah. Yo, Jake Paul taught me one thing. You gotta have the audacity, man.
Yeah,
You
that's
literally,
one thing I get from the Paul is that you have to have the audacity to blindly believe in yourself. Because look how far he came. He came from a Disney child to now where he's fighting for like 40 million, and I'm like, who's paying to watch these men fight for 40 million? But his plan is to become so hated and unlikable, and draw so many headlines and draw so many articles and fucking tweets, posts, whatever, so that people hate him so much that they want to see him fight, that they want to see him either win or lose.
he's a low key. Like when you look at it, I'm with you. You gotta give him the respect because to pull off what he did, and I remember when it first started. I think it was KSI versus Logan. That was the first one.
No, the very first one was KSI versus the next UK YouTuber. I think it was like Joe Weller or something, like a fitness YouTuber.
Right. So back then when these things were going on, who would have thought that, fast forward 5-7 years, fucking YouTubers would be fighting for millions of dollars.
And their main event like cards.
Yeah, and they have undercards and they're getting pay-per-view and all this shit. To me, it's like, yo, just have the audacity, even a little bit. Because every time I have the audacity, whether it be work or whether it be like you're out, whatever it is,
ends up paying off a little still.
It ends up paying off a little bit. Sometimes the audacity rewards you, and you just gotta do it. You just gotta be kind of fucking bold for no reason.
Because coming from that, I would never imagine it lead to like Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather, Deji fighting Floyd Mayweather. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you told me that boxing was gonna go from like what it was to like what it is now, that's crazy. That's crazy. And these influencers are getting millions.
And there's an argument: is this good or bad for the sport? That's not the point. The point
I think it's bad for the sport, but
I think it's bad for the sport. Me too. What I'm saying is, for the purposes of our conversation, listen, those boys just went for it and it paid off. So you just have to go for it. And even like I'm watching the fight and I'm watching Jake Paul train and how he looks physically. I'm like, yo, that guy put in a lot of work. Yeah, and it's funny because average people like, I could fuck up Jake Paul. No, you can't.
No, you can't. You can't fuck up the average. The average fighter will not fuck up Jake Paul.
Jake Paul is 6'1", 190, 210, in that range. Pretty athletic. You're not fucking him up. He's where he's at. I believe where he's at, he's earned it, and not because of his talent, but because of his work ethic. Like you don't.
I wouldn't say he's like a pro amateur yet. I'd say he's still like he's on his way to becoming an amateur. He's a couple more fights, I think, and he'll become an amateur. I think maybe 5 journeyman fights, and journeymen are basically people who are very low amateurs, but people using to kind of like, I guess, polish their skills and their experience in ring.
Yeah,
I'd say give him 5 more journeyman fights. I think he'd be okay, and I think he's definitely top of the YouTube scene. I think.
Yeah,
actually, no.
Well, who do you think?
I'd say Soul Poppy is the top of the YouTube scene.
Oh yeah, I seen him. I seen him knock a.
Soul Poppy's nasty.
Yeah, that's that.
He actually boxes.
Yeah, I didn't watch his whole fight. I just seen the highlight. I think that it was a quick fight. Just gave the guy a beautiful 2-piece and knocked him out, if I remember correctly, or something like that.
I actually think he can knock out Jake Paul and KSI. I don't think anybody of those guys touch him though.
What's crazy is that he kind of came up on the sneak because he was obviously a TikTok star or whatever. He was doing his thing.
Yeah,
it's like he definitely worked hard. I'm like, is that just innate? Because
no. So apparently, he's been boxing.
Oh, okay.
Like he sounded had like a background, but he never took it seriously until like this whole influencer boxing scene became a little bit more popular. And that's when he was able to capitalize.
That's pretty
on it.
Dope.
But you can tell like he has like natural fighting ability because then the way he punches, the way he slips, the way he times his shit, he knows how to box.
Yeah. Boxing is a beautiful sport, man.
It is.
I bought gloves, whatever. I'd go to the gym. Maybe some days, like for my cardio, I'll do there's like a boxing hit session, and sometimes there's a trainer at the gym. Me and him will hit the pads, so he'll call out 1, 2, 3, whatever. That whole thing, man. First off, takes a hell of a lot of cardio. So if you've never boxed before, you'd be surprised. And then secondly, it just gives you confidence. Like I'm not fighting anybody, but the way I'm punching these pads.
You feel like you can fight anybody.
Tell me anything. You can't tell me shit. Yeah, you can't tell me shit when I leave the gym. Yeah, I'm like, bro,
I just beat the shit out of 16 guys, bro. Fuck, who you talking to?
Like those pads, they know what
they got the work, bro. They got the work. But you know what? I actually think Salt Poppy versus Tommy Fury would have been a cool fight.
Yeah, That would be cool. That'd be good.
I think Tommy was pretty nervous still. I think he could have done a lot better still.
He just the eye test. Tommy Fury looked like he was gonna whoop his ass.
Oh yeah, for sure. This guy was D's as hell.
These is how I'm like, bro. This guy's built like a freaking NFL player, you know?
Yeah, he built like a statue.
Right?
And just being a younger brother to Tyson Fury, you just have that kind of experience and that boxing culture behind you.
Yeah, that pedigree that everybody talks about. He has that.
Yeah, but the thing where I thought made him a little bit more nervous and he didn't perform as good as he should have was because there was more pressure on Tommy than there was Jake Paul. Because Jake Paul, everyone expected him to lose anyways because he was a real boxer. So all he had to do was try his best. But Tommy Fury's the son, what's his name? The brother of Tyson Fury, son of John Fury. So he has all this pressure on him. Where like
he had to win.
He had to win, exactly. That's what the pressure made him kind of fight a little bit more nervous. Because I could see how sometimes where he was just kind of throwing the same punches or just getting caught with some shit that you shouldn't get caught with.
I think he was talking about it in the interview before or after, but he was saying like he felt like the weight of the world was on his shoulders.
And it probably was. That's why he cried probably, like when he won.
Yeah, and people were roasting him for that and comparing it to Patrick Beverly, and I was like, nah. I was like, nah. This is two different things. Because Patrick Beverly crying at the play-in win, to this day, I don't care what anybody tells me, top 10 funniest things in basketball history. But that's a whole that's a whole other conversation. But for Tommy, I can feel him because I think what he makes like at least like 3 to 7 million guaranteed on that fight. That's life changing.
He might have
money.
made like 25 million.
So
he was already rich. His girlfriend's rich. His family's rich. He was already well off.
Yeah, he's well off. He's made his own money, cemented himself. Exactly. Like good moment. But he did talk about that, and what that brings up as well goes back to Jake. Imagine being so hated. You've done such a good job of being extremely dislikable that the next man felt like, yo, he had to beat you for the planet.
Yo, that's crazy when you put it like that. Yep. I always said it like this. I don't know why. I don't know if you're racist, Jake Paul, but like every time he beats somebody, especially a person of color, I'm like, man, this is a point for racism.
Yeah, it is, bro.
When he beat Nate Robinson, I'm like, oh man, like racism just went up by like 10 points.
Listen,
and when he beat Tyron Woodley twice, I was like, oh man, racism is at an all-time high right now, bro. He's gonna say the N-word after he beat Tyron Woodley.
He's gonna drop a track just called N-word. When he beat Nate, it's because Nate got knocked out, right? Did Nate? If I remember,
I thought Nate died, and it was so sad too because I fuck with Nate, but like he did not know how to throw a punch, man.
Was he asleep or was he
sleep? He was asleep. Honestly, like yo, I could have knocked out Nate. You put me in the ring with Nate with like 2 days of training, I would have knocked Nate out easily. Nate did not.
Oh man, Nate, he's lucky because we all forgot about that. There's been so much happening, but I just want to use this podcast to remind the internet that Nate was sleep versus Jake Paul.
Sleep. He was knocked the fuck out. You read him a bedtime story.
An NBA, an athlete, like a legit athlete, not like a Joe Schmo run of the muck. Now, like a legit.
That's where I kind of like after Nate Robinson got knocked out, because I'm a pretty good all around athlete. Like I can pretty much do like one sport, and then my skills will transfer to another sport.
Yeah.
But after watching that, I'm like, okay, like some people can't do this because Nate Robinson did not look like an athlete that night. Yo, he just looked like he was D's. That was it. I thought the hand-eye coordination from basketball and the tenacity in basketball would transfer over, but I guess not everyone's built the same.
Yeah, that's true. Our minds are like, that's a good point because you'd assume that athletes are gonna be good at whatever translate because some people are like that. They can.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing football to basketball.
Like apparently Anthony Edwards is like that. He can just play any sport. I haven't seen it for myself, but there's some people that just have a mind that they like their hand-eye coordination is good, so they can play any sport. Yeah. But some people,
you know what,
they're only good at certain sports. Yeah,
it's not like Nate Robinson was a fucking generational athlete, so I expected too much. But I don't know if you've seen Chad Ochocinco. Chad Ochocinco boxed one time, and he was actually really, really good. He was one whose skills transferred over properly.
He looks like a boxer. His bald ass head like mine. I was like, he looks like a boxer.
I'm dead. Yeah, but Nate Robinson, those skills did not transfer over, man.
Nah,
those dunk contest skills, dunking over Shaq, that did not transfer over.
What did you think about Mac McClung winning the dunk contest?
That was fire, yo. Like, I hate that Lightsing guy. I don't even know his name. Like something Sims. I don't even want to know his name, but he was embarrassing. You know, Austin Mahomes, how he has a cringe brother. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is the same vibe that Dunker gave me, the Lightsing guy, in the dunk contest this year.
Let me tell you something. I didn't even know the dunk contest was happening.
Yeah.
I found out on
Day
social
of.
media the
True.
day after. I think not even day of, bro.
Not
The
even
day
day
after.
Day after.
Day after, I was like, oh, it happened. Oh, Mac McClung won. You know what they should do for the NBA All-Star game?
Well,
One guy said, we're long overdue for a one-on-one championship.
that'd be
Like,
sick.
there should just be
A king of the
just
court, and it'll be fire.
king of the court,
Fire.
one-on-one. You know, one guy will like kind of like a Royal Rumble, you know, but you know the one guy that starts.
Yeah, yeah.
And
That'd be sick, bro. I fuck with that. That would kind of bring people back, cause then, yo, the All-Star weekend has become so ass.
Yeah,
I don't even look forward.
so
Like,
trash.
I remember before as a kid or like a teenager, I look forward to All-Star weekend. I'm like, yo, dunk contest is lit.
It was amazing.
Not
But
anymore, bro. Not now. I'm like, fuck, same shit. I don't want to see this fucking skills challenge. Skills challenge is boring. 3-point contest is boring now.
yeah, all of it is whack. They need to do like, you know, one-on-one would be amazing.
Yeah.
Because who do you think right now in the NBA would win that
One-on-one?
challenge?
Kyrie.
One-on-one. Kyrie?
Yeah. Kyrie, Luca. But if you want to go not named, like not name stars, give me like Trae Young type mans.
Yeah, like
Sick.
I'd even like to see like
Like a 3 to 5 dribble
players.
max.
Yeah, like a 3 dribble tournament.
Yeah.
Because like maybe the like teams would bring players that are good one-on-one but aren't like don't have a big role.
Exactly,
So remember how like
Malik Beasley.
Bees,
Or Michael Beasley.
what's it? Michael Beasley, like how
Michael
apparently
Beasley
like if
looks
you
sick.
go up one-on-one with him,
Sauce
he's giving
everybody.
you buckets.
Yeah.
Yeah. He would have
But,
been nice to see.
I was so mad when I seen that Lyson guy. He tried to do, the honey dip when you put your elbows in the basket. Vince
Yeah, it was
Carter.
horrible.
So he tries.
It was
Okay,
horrible.
first one, he tries to do it. He tries to put both arms in. One arm goes in, and the first time I didn't even notice that he didn't get the second arm in. So he was just posing, right? So they played again in slow mo. He gets the right arm in, and as the camera turns, you see him shove his left arm in, and he poses. I'm like, how dare you pose? How dare you try to fake pose that?
Disgusting.
Like, that's disgusting. yo.
Disgusting.
I was cheesed. I was
Disgusting.
cheesed.
And then he was the one that opened up that 50 envelope. Was it him?
Yeah. And the second dunk,
Yeah.
he does it with just one elbow. I'm like, yo, if you did it the first time with 2 elbows and it was ass, why the fuck are you gonna do it again with 1 elbow and then fucking bring out that 50? Like, it just gave me fucking.
Happen?
It gave me Jackson Mahomes vibes.
Let me tell you what his career is done.
His career's done. He got. There's a big ass. Not a big ass. There's another like angle of like a
Yeah.
big shot, right? Of like the whole like I guess sidelines and everyone watching.
Yeah.
No players reacted to it. They're like, get this guy out of here, bro. Who is this guy? Who invited this guy?
Ruined his career. He would have been
That
better
weak-ass
just doing like a rim grazer reverse dunk.
Do a nasty windmill, like a windmill or something, bro. You're gonna do a fucking honey dip, like you guys are 6'7". You guys should be putting your elbows in there. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's
And
not impressive.
the honey dip was only good because we never seen it before.
Exactly. It was good when Vince Carter did it because no one's seen it before. Now that we've seen it, it's not that impressive. You're just shoving your arm in the basket. I don't want to see that. I want to see some fucking 360s. I want to see some fucking a 360 with the windmill, backwards, double clutch. Like, I want to see shit like that. And Mac McClung actually brought something different. He just, that first dunk he did where he tapped the backboard, I didn't even notice he tapped the backboard. The ball.
Yeah. He did his thing. He brought
something different.
He did a good mix. And I think that's the problem with the dunk contest. It's like, yo, what haven't we seen? Like, how?
Yeah, exactly.
What can you do without becoming cringy, right? You know?
Yeah. And like, even a 3-point contest, man. The 3-point contest, I do not rate at all. Because I remember before, every ball was worth 1 point, and you had a money ball at the end of each rack. Now you have like a whole rack of money balls. You have 4-point balls that are even deeper. I'm like, bro, just keep it simple if you're gonna do a 3-point contest.
Yeah, absolutely disgusting.
I'm pretty sure Jason Capono has the record at like 26 or 27, but he did it the legit way. He didn't have a money ball rack. He just had like 1 money ball per rack at the end.
Or you know what would be sick? Like, so they do a 1-on-1 tournament and then they have squads. Like, imagine 4 teams of 3 or something like that, right?
Oh, that'd be sick. Like, kind of like Big
Right?
3.
Kind of like Big 3, 4 teams of 3, and then they do like a bracket system. It's not gonna be serious,
That'd be sick.
right? And then we see which squad of 3 gets to the end, and teams could. I don't know how they would do that, but maybe it could be like of fans vote the squads or the players put their squads, and then it's like real bragging rights. It's like, yo, like we're actually better than you guys. Like we're actually nastier at you than at basketball. You know, that'd be sick.
You know what, too? I don't know how they can do it, but like the All-Star game in general too has become so ass. Like, it's not serious anymore. I remember before when like Back when everyone used to wear their own jerseys, like it was pretty serious still, you know, like back when like Kobe was still alive and everything.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like they would actually take pride in winning the All-Star game. Now people don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's some weird for just so like it's disgusting because you see there's absolutely no defense, whereas back then there was like at least there was an attempt at defense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I hate it
All-Stars ass now. Don't even watch that shit at all.
because they had the same problem in the NFL, and they literally brought in flag football, and it went crazy. Like
Oh,
players
I
are
didn't know
actually
that.
going hard and playing serious for flag football. So
For NFL, it makes a little bit more sense though, because then like it's contact, right? You don't want to injure yourself, like tackling each other for like an All-Star event.
yeah, and it was the same problem back in the day. And they called it the Pro Bowl. It was serious. Players would take it seriously. But
Ooh, they should maybe change the name, make it a little bit more. They should. I don't know how you would do it, but like it'd be cool to incorporate it in a way where how well you do during the All-Star weekend affects your like regular season.
that's what I was thinking. It could
I
be
don't
like
know
an
how they'd really
incentive.
do it though.
It could be like, you know, if your team wins, it goes to your charity or something that gives you a reason to hoop harder, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or it could be, I don't know.
I
It
don't
needs
know.
to be something to give them a reason to
Some
hoop.
NBA. Adam Silver, you're watching this right now. Do better, man. I'm bored of the All-Star weekend. Honestly, I'm kind of even bored of watching the NBA. I only watch during playoffs.
Yeah, facts. The NBA is getting kind of boring.
Boring,
I haven't
bro.
watched
That's
a game
boring.
properly. Sports is getting kind of boring.
One time
Even I won't even lie. Even video games is getting boring, bro.
I started a new game recently, so I'm kind of having fun with that. Starting with Sons of the
Which
Forest.
one? Sons of the Forest.
Yeah, it's like a survival
Is-
game. It's pretty lit still.
Is it multiplayer or some shit?
Yeah, it is.
And Steam?
Yeah, check it out.
Say no more. I'm gonna check that out.
Check it out. The new GPU and everything, bro.
Yeah, I'm fucking. Like I said, people, invest in yourselves.
That sucks. Yo. Go work out, yo. Shit.
Shit, do something nice for yourselves once in a while.
As I get older too, I kind of realize how important it is to stay working out. Cause then like
Yeah.
I don't know. When I was younger, I'm just always kind of like I've always been able to bank on my natural athleticism and metabolism. But as I get older now, and I'm just working on my desk, playing video games, I still lift weights and everything, but like actually doing shit, you feel that, bro. When I actually go out to play ball after like a 4-month hiatus, my hips are tight, my knees are cold, my
Yeah.
ankles are tight. Like, go outside and do something. Like sports, I mean, lifting weights is not enough. If you're just those gym heads, I think you're gonna stay young by lifting weights. It's not gonna happen.
No, you actually need to move your body because
Move
I'm
your
noticing it now too. Because I'm one of those gym heads that when I was having a combination of like hooping and lifting weights,
Your body feels better.
my body felt better because the hinges, like it's almost like when you leave a car in the garage for a really long time,
You start it up again, right?
and you start up, it's
Yeah.
fucked. So in the same way, like the joints that I would use when I was playing sports weren't getting used anymore. And even like with this chair that I bought, like all these tiny little things are really important. Like the bed you sleep on, the amount of sleep you get, all this shit. Like aging. So I think because we're young, we don't understand what aging is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your body's actually becoming more ass day by day, and you have to maintain it upkeep to make sure that when you reach an older age, it's in a good enough state that you have a good quality of life.
It's like, yo, if any of you guys have watched Physical 100, if you haven't, I recommend go watching that right now. A lot of the people on the Physical 100 that made it pretty far were like age 45, and you wouldn't even be able to tell that they're in their 40s because of how well like they keep their body.
Yeah, word.
Have you finished that show, by the way?
No, I was starting it, but I didn't finish it.
True. Well, that's a good show, and like a lot of the athletes will surprise you, because it's not the bodybuilders that are making it far; it's the talented athletes.
Yeah, facts. But like bodybuilding is a show sport. I think that's what people.
That's why a lot of people, I guess, like in the show too, they're like, there's one guy, right? He's a power lifter, but he's not like a power lifter that was just bred in the gym, right? He was kind of like I guess he was like an athlete. I think he was. I forgot what he was, but he had like another sport. Then he got into powerlifting. And he's like, these muscles weren't built in a gym. And he was the
That's a
only
good point.
he was the only bodybuilder type guy that made it far. And there was another bodybuilder that looked like he was super big, and he would just fucking outlast everybody. He did not make it that far.
Nah, was he out like pretty early?
He was out pretty early in a task that he should have done like pretty considerably like well at.
Yeah, it'll be like that, man.
Yeah, because I saw this one professional trainer. was explaining it in a way where like you gotta focus on your functional strength and not just like those compound, like not compound, those isolated movements when you like lift. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Say for example when you're doing like the dumbbell bench press, right? You're only strong in that range where you're moving for like 10 to 20 centimeters. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like when you have to like balance something or something shifts or you have to like do something else, your body's not gonna be used to because you're so stiff. Like you're strong in that like that limited range of motion.
Doesn't do you no good in real life. Let me tell you that.
Because you see it all the time in MMA and boxing. You see these really big buff guys, right? And you're like, yo, this man is about to destroy this guy. But I've seen a bunch of times where these guys look really big and buff, and then they lose.
Mm-hmm.
It's like like I don't know if you follow boxing. You know Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is a pretty chubby guy, right? And then from the eye test, he looks like he's just fat, can't move anything.
I remember him, yeah.
Yeah, and he fought Anthony Joshua. And it's not to say Anthony Joshua isn't like an actual athlete, because he is. But like from the eye test, Anthony Joshua just looks like a very like in shape D's bodybuilder. Andy Ruiz beat him. The big guy with the beer belly beat him. But you know, and don't be that guy that judges fucking people's body shapes and be like, oh, this is what you can or can't do.
Bro, let me tell you a story. There's this guy in my neighborhood that grew up. His name was Adnan. Goes by Adoso. This guy was pretty big.
Mm-hmm.
But when he got on the court and he started hooping, like the way he moved, how quickly he moved, and all these, you would have never known. You would have never known that a guy his size can move like that. Like he legit, like he was shifty. Like imagine he posted a clip of him hooping the other day on his, and it reminded me. And he was like, he was in the triple threat, give him someone jabs, and the guy didn't know what to do, and then he just wetted in the guy's face. I was like, yeah, you can't judge people by the way they look.
Yeah, you judge people by the way they look, because everyone has different body shapes, different genetics, you know.
Yeah.
Because they look a certain way. Don't judge a book by its cover, bro. You'll be surprised still.
Humility, bro. You have to be humble in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like approach life with confidence, but also, you know, sprinkle a little bit of humility on your shit, so you don't get embarrassed.
Facts. And that's the end of our episode today. We're gonna have a short one because you know what? Next week we're gonna bring you an in-person episode, yo. Live in the flesh.
From the fucking ends
from the trenches, bro. But yo, if you're watching this today with us, I'm glad you guys are here. Glad to be back. Again, hit us with a like, hit us with a comment, hit us with a subscribe, hit that noti bell. I know some of you guys might be watching, not hitting that like and follow button. So you guys, if you're watching that right now, take a moment, hit that subscribe button, yo. There's only bigger things to come.